Good morning. Happy Wednesday. I hope everybody's having an amazing day so far. It's a great morning. Oh, good here. Okay. It is a great day. It's a great morning. It is August 9th. Oh, goodness. Kids are back to school, which means you've just freed up some extra time if you've had your kids at home. So it's time to get back to work. It's time to really get back to work and start putting some time in. Our prescriptive action from Monday was talking about video. So we are trying to get you to engage more with video. You heard Jimmy say something that the stats show something between 85 and 90% of people would engage with someone who had done video, and it's more engaging. It gives you better connection. If you think of communication is 7, 38, 55, 7% the words you use, 38% the tonality, the way you use them, 55% your body language. If you're just texting someone, 7%. If you are on the phone with somebody, 38% plus the 7%. So 45%, about half of your ability to communicate. You're missing out on the body language, which is the 55%. Video helps to convey all of that a little bit more. The challenge with video is you don't know the person that's, the mood that they're going to be receiving it in. But if you are delivering it with body language, tonality, and words, you have a much better opportunity of conveying the message and them not misconstruing it, because you can send a text message to somebody and that text message can be misconstrued. Has anybody ever sent a text and then the response from the other person, you were like, whoa, where did that come from? Didn't you look back at your text? I don't think I said, oh, okay, I see. I was pretty direct, or I said this in that way. And okay, I see where you're. That's not what it meant. I'm sorry. Now you got to backtrack. You just spent a few extra minutes trying to fix a problem that you never should have had. So right now, hold on. Let me make sure we get some chats. Another contract yesterday. Way to go, Mike. Awesome job. Good morning, Constance. Good morning to everybody. So yeah, right now it's time to get to work. So our prescription is for you to start doing some video. I'm going to talk about the 3 different prescriptions, and we're going to go in depth a little bit more into them, because a lot of the times what are the reasons you won't do video? If you wouldn't mind chatting in, tell me the reasons that you won't shoot a video. If you don't mind, chat in and tell me, what are the reasons? Nice and quick and easy. Is it the don't know what words to say? Not sure how we look? Don't have a professional camera? No gimbal stick? Don't have a tripod? I sound silly? I look funny? I don't know who to send it to? Don't know how to post it? I don't even know how to shoot a video. Anybody nervous, Nelly? Bad responses? Hate how I sound on video? All of the above. Not comfortable with that medium as of yet. So every person that's going to see your video, if you are going to end up doing business with them, what's the difference whether they hear your voice on the phone, hear your voice when they meet you in person, or see the video first? What's the difference? Is your voice going to sound different when you meet them in person, when you talk to them on the phone, or when they watch your video? Or is your voice going to sound the same? For those of you who say, I hate the sound of my voice, well, I don't know how old you are, but you've been dealing with that voice your whole life and you've done just fine so far. Has anybody ever walked up to you and smacked you across the face and said, oh my God, I can't believe that you sound like that? No. Don't know editing process for social? Okay. No one has ever come up to you and said, oh my God, this person sounds awful. I would never do business with somebody who sounds like that. No one would ever do that. Voice sounds the same, but more confident when in person. That's a perception. That is your perception. You feel like you are more confident when in person, but your message may be delivered the same, but that may be your perception. My wife has slapped me across the face one time. So, oh my God, I can't believe that you sound like that. Well, she's got a special place in our heart then, Greg. So don't know the editing process for social. I would rather you not edit your videos. I'd rather them be real. If you can shoot a quick little 30-second video that's kind of a teaser into getting a conversation going, you really don't need to edit the stuff. There's really nothing to edit. It doesn't have to look professional, the videos that you're sending. Really, people relate to people. So like, yes, you may look and you see this pretty video and everything like that, but they may not be as relatable as a person, but they're going to relate to you. You know, there's the concept of, if you have a bunch of Google reviews and all of them are 5-star reviews, just because you have a bunch of 5-star reviews doesn't mean that you're amazing. People will actually start to say, there's something off here. There's not one bad review or one 4-star review or 3-star review. This person may not be real. Maybe all these reviews are fake. So you want to be a little bit more real. Here's some feedback from someone. InShot, INSHOT app is inexpensive and easy to use. If I can use it, anyone can learn. You do you. I once did a live video from an open house and gave the wrong address and then corrected it and laughed. Real life, and my tribe always knows that's typical. Have fun and be real. Absolutely. And that's the whole point of doing the video. But, you know, so it sounds like a lot of you are just trying to get over just that hump of actually doing it. But I ask you, the very first time that you did anything, were you 100% comfortable with it? Was there something about what you did that made you uncomfortable? The first time you did an open house, were you comfortable with it? No. The first person that walked into your open house, were you comfortable with it? Probably a little uncomfortable. When they left, did you go, God, I wish I didn't say that. I wish I would have said this. So the very first time that you do anything, it's going to be a little bit uneasy and a little bit uncomfortable. The cool part is, if you're knocking on doors, making phone calls, holding open houses, meeting consumers, doing those things, there's no second chance to make that first impression. But with video, there is. Because you can shoot the video, and if you want, scrap the video and shoot another one. You can shoot the video and redo it over and over again if you want to. So you get those second opportunities if you need to. So voice sounds the same, but okay, good. So what we're going to do is let's talk about the prescriptions and kind of let's get some of that stuff out of the way so that you don't have, maybe if you need the words, maybe if you need different ideas, that's going to be this whole class, is give you different ideas of a subject for you to talk about and shoot a video on, whichever one resonates with you. So one of the prescriptions was, hold on, start. I need to go back to the beginning of the slides. There you go. One of prescriptive actions is, let me tell you what's cool about living in neighborhood, city, county, Florida, town, next to, near, around. That's kind of one of the prescriptions. Let me tell you what's cool about living around here. The idea is, and this is what I think, you can easily create a series of, let me tell you what's cool about living in Waterset, Apollo Beach. And you can create a series of doing these things, and you could put them out and you could put them into a Waterset Facebook page and get more people in that community looking at you because you're providing them some type of value. Did you know that there's this section of Waterset right now? And I'm going to use that as an example because it's right here and it's easy for me to relate to. And there's something that you have that's very close to you and easy for you to relate to. I would do a quick series on, let me tell you what's cool about living in Waterset. Did you know about the Apollo Beach Nature Preserve? It's less than 4 minutes away, 5 minutes away. Take a couple videos of it. You have an overlook tower. You've got beach. You've got sunset views. You've got beautiful this. You can see the boats going in and by. The Tico power plant is right there. So a lot of fish coming in and out. You see a lot of wildlife, birds, nature trails. You can put a nice little series there. Let me tell you about what's cool. Let me tell you what's cool about living in Waterset. Have you been to all of the pools? Do you see the new section that they're opening up? There's a new pool, a new community center, the new this, a new that, blah, 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 blah. If you haven't brought your family there, you do it for parties. You can use it for this. You can use it for that. Let me tell you what's cool about living in Waterset. Did you know that the sports complex that they're building in Waterset is going to be the largest contiguous sports field in Hillsborough County? Have you seen that? Do you know what's going on? There's going to be sports like this. I've already communicated. They're doing this, and there's going to be flag football, soccer, this, that, and the other. Great place for you to bring your family, go for a walk around, bring the dog, park, whatever. Did you know what's cool about living in Waterset? Here is a list of all of the eateries that are close to it. Boom, 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 boom. Here's the cool places to eat that are very close within 5 minutes. Quick little drive right over there, right around the corner. Did you know what's cool about Leave It? They're bringing in a new section into this neighborhood. This new section is going to be called The Yard. It'll have boutique shops. There's going to be a 15,000 square foot, a fitness warehouse. There's going to be niche community type boutique shops for this, that, and the other, eateries, sushi, nail salons. You can take that information and just create a whole series about what's cool about living in a neighborhood. That's one option. You can create a whole series about places to eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Did you know what's cool about living in Apollo Beach? Let me tell you about all of the cool places that we have that you can grab lunch. Something that's different, a little off the wall places you may not have seen. Do something really simple like that. Take a couple pictures, shoot a couple videos. This is about engagement. It's about getting more involved because people will engage with the product that you put out. They will engage with it, especially if you have some cool video. What else what are cool places to drink? If you wanted to grab a beverage, if you wanted a weeknight beverage, a weekend beverage, a weekday beverage, a Sunday day drinker beverage, if you're looking for something like that. Cool places to be entertained. Let me tell you what's cool about here. Entertainment. You can do this, that, and the other. Tampa, you have Sparkman's Wharf. You've got the River Walk. You've got Eulalie. You've got Hula Bay. You've got Salt Shack on the Bay. You've got the sports games. You could all of that stuff. Let me tell you what's cool about living in Tampa Bay. We are just minutes from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Tampa Bay Rays, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Did you know that there's also a soccer team as well? So there's so many series of videos that you could create around. Let me tell you what's cool about living in this area. And I'm just trying to give you ideas about what you can do, because so many of us, when we get this, oh, I got to shoot a video. Oh my God. We're so worried about the video that we overthink everything that we need to do and all the ideas that we need to do. What about schools? Schools is another one. Let me tell you what's cool about living in this community. The schools are absolutely amazing. I've had a kid that went into this school, absolutely loved it. The teachers, the extracurricular activities, this, that, and the other, that would be something that would really resonate with people if you were to put something like that out, and you would get a lot of engagement there, probably get a ton of comments and feedback. My son went there too, and this teacher was absolutely amazing, and you'll start to see some of that. That would be a really good one to do. Talk about the schools that are around there, maybe their ratings, how many kids there are, graduating numbers. That's really easy information to find. Wildlife. Let me tell you what's cool about living in Florida. Please show last slide for a few seconds so we can print screen. I'm going to get to all of the slides. So this is just the first slide. I haven't done any other slides. So this is the first slide. I'm going to get to all the other ones. So let me tell you what's cool about living in Florida, the wildlife. I was driving my truck into a state park is a while ago over in Pinellas County. It was a Seminole Park, and I'm driving down the road. There was a 6-foot rattlesnake right in the middle of the road, sunning itself. Fat as anything. Like, as I'm driving into there's wildlife. You can see alligators any given time. Hey, wildlife, go right over to the Manatee Viewing Center that's over here. Go right out to the beach. Go right down to Fort DeSoto State Park. The birds, the fish, anything like that. Wildlife is amazing. If you can go out to any of the trails and see any of this wildlife. Here's another one. Funny one. Let me tell you what's crazy about living in the state of Florida. All of the Florida man stories. Florida man does this. Florida man jumps in pool with alligator. Florida man tries to rob a McDonald's wearing blah, blah, blah. So there's all these crazy stories about Florida man. They are no joke. Yes. Let me tell you what's cool about living in Florida, right where we're at in Apollo Beach. I am 45 to 55 minutes away from 3 of the top 5 beaches in the country. And then I'm going to show you a quick series on each one of those and tell you all the little places to go for each of those. That's something you can do. Just sit down, write a quick little outline, like jot down every idea. This is you delivering a message to your sphere, your community, your people who already like you, know you, and trust you. And the more that they like it, the more they comment on it, the more people will see it. And then you make it shareable and you ask other people to share that, and it starts getting legs and going a little further. So again, here's your one prescription. Let me tell you what's cool about, and here's a bunch of ideas that you can do for community, neighborhood. Let me tell you what's cool about living in a waterfront home in Pinellas County, in Hillsborough County, in Apollo Beach, in Indian Rocks. Let me tell you what's cool about living in one of these condominiums right on the beach. If you live in something like that, tell a story. That's the whole point, is to tell a story, because people relate to stories. That's what they relate to. They'd rather be, nobody wants to be told or sold. They want to be understood. And if you tell a story, there's a good chance they will relate to that story, which makes them feel understood. So when they have that feeling of being understood, you automatically create a little bit more connection. Next one is, this is the, I'm calling because I really need your help. Hey, this is Chris. This is calling your sphere, calling the people that you know, and say, hey, putting a video together and shooting it over to them. Hey, it's Chris. I'm reaching out because I really need your help. We've got a real shortage of inventory available for the amount of buyers that are calling, and I could really, really, really use your help. You know people that I don't know, and I was just wondering, who do you know that might be upsizing, downsizing, moving in, moving out, moving around, moving in state, out of state, having a baby, making a baby, trying to make a baby, needing a different house to try to make a baby in, needing to get closer to schools, looking for a place to keep their business vehicle or material on land, looking to spread out, any of these things, you know, losing a job, getting a job. Who do you know? You know people that I don't know. And this is just a simple, quick text video to your sphere, the people that you connect with. If you don't want to call them, this is really cool. Just take a quick little video. Hey, it's Chris. Just wanted to check in with you. I just want to let you know that I could really use your help. We've really got a shortage of inventory here in whatever area that you're in that you want to talk to them about. And, you know people that I don't know, and I could really, really use your help. We don't have enough homes for the amount of buyers that are out there. And I just want to know, who do you know that might be moving up, moving down, or around that I might be able to help? I've made it a really solid goal for me this year, by the end of the year, to help at least 6 more families achieve that goal of getting to the place they need to be for the job, for the school, for their family, to spread out, to get more peace, to get more whatever it is that they're after. So this is literally going out to all of your sphere. It's a reminder. If you text them, they will see the text. Anybody ever ignored a text and forgot to text them back and got another text a couple days later? I'm like, oh crap, I forgot to text them. If you send a video, the likelihood of that happening is much less. It's easier to reject a font, a text message, than it is a face, a video message. The words are easy to reject. The face, they're going to see that. They're definitely going to click on it and listen to it with that thumbnail that pops up. They're definitely going to watch it, and they're definitely going to reply. And they're definitely going to be thinking about it, whether they like to or not. You've just implanted a little ping pong ball into their head that's going to keep bouncing around their head throughout the rest of that day. So when real estate pops up, the first ping pong ball that pops up in front of them is going to be your face, that video. Oh yeah, Chris just asked me about that. And then they'll make a decision whether to bring that name up or not. And either way is fine, as long as they're thinking of us. So this is a great opportunity to get this to your sphere. Every one of your sphere should get something like this. I need your help. And I've set a really solid goal to help at least 3 more families on top of everybody else that I'm helping. I'll help 5 more families, 6 more families, 2 more families get into or out of the home that they're in, and make sure that we can make them feel safe, comfortable, happy, transition, whatever the case is, whatever message you decide to deliver. So that's the second message. The first one's let me tell you what's cool about living in whatever you want to, Florida, community, neighborhood, town, city, county of, city of, close to, near. Second one is, I'm calling because I really need your help. Basically, it's a video message. I'm reaching out because I really need your help. We've got a real shortage of inventory, not enough homes for the amount of buyers. And that's why I'm reaching out to you. You know people that I don't know. And, I really, really need your help. Who do you know? Who do you know that might be moving up, down, or around? I've set a really high goal for myself because I just want to help as many people as I can. You know me, you know how I do things. I'm going to take great care of anybody that you happen to know. So who do you know that might be moving up, down, or around? Now, the next one is, this is the third option. Why are smart people buying houses? I've got it. God, I don't know how many slides I've got here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5 slides of 5 different topics that you could use. You can screenshot these, take them. They're just a bunch of bullet points underneath to talk about. And I'm going to expand on them and try to give you some words or give you some direction or thought for each one of these 5 topics for why smart people are buying homes. Why are smart people buying homes? Part 1, rates are low. If you say it with confidence, it's true. You ever had somebody say something with such confidence, you're like, man, that's bullshit, but is it? Hey, he seems so certain of himself. How could he be so certain? That doesn't even sound right. And it makes you think. But the cool part is this isn't BS. Rates are low. What does this say? 30-year mortgage rate in the United States averaged 7.74% from 1971 till 2023 this year. 30-year mortgage rates between 1971 and 2023, 52-year average, 7.74% is the average, reaching an all-time high of 18.63% 1980. 18% in 1981 and a record low of 2.65 in January of 2021. Okay. So rates are low. If the average is 7 3/4 and we're at 6.5 to 7 1/4, we're below the average. What most people want to be if they're buying something, thinking they're getting a deal, wanting to come on top and feel like they negotiated right, they want to be at the numbers below the average. I want to feel like I got a deal. You're getting a deal. The average is 7 3/4 and you're paying less than that. Just because the rates were something. Well, let me tell you something. That home that you're putting an offer on of $400,000 was $125,000 in 2008. Are you going to be pissed off about that? No, because you weren't old enough to buy a house back then. You didn't have a job. You were still in high school. You were this, you were that, the other. So you can't be pissed off about that, just like you can't be pissed off about the rate. The rate is what the rate is. What we need to do is we need to talk about more of the other things that go along with the rate is low, because the rate is low and why it's a benefit to buy with the rates where they're at. Lock in a rate now and wait for them to adjust. I just showed you that the rates could be 18.63% if you don't pay close enough attention. Next thing you know, they're going to shoot through the roof. Well, you never know what they could do. So lock in the rate now. If you can afford the rate as it is now, lock it in now. And here's why. Because since 1991, the average home price increase appreciation has been 4.3%. So since 1991, in the last 32 years, the average appreciation has been 4.3%. Since 2000, it's been 4.7%. So if you lock a rate in now at 7%, and here's the numbers, how it's going to work out. 5% appreciation means that your $400,000 home, because its average is 4.7 since 2000. Does say 5%? Make the numbers easy. I don't want to do 4.7 times numbers in my head. So $400,000 home, 5% means your $400,000 home next year, because you decided to wait for rates to drop. That home is $420,000. Now that's the average appreciation over the 32 years, 22 years. Average. That means it could be higher. There's some people that are saying that appreciation could be as high as 20% next year, because if rates drop and buyers come back into the market in full force, they're going to drive prices up again. And if they drive prices up again, 20% increase in 1 year, 15 to 20% increase in 1 year, these numbers, all of a sudden, you waiting for the rates to drop didn't make any sense. And let me show you why. 5% means it's worth $420 now next year if you wait a year. That's $100 to $110 a month more because you waited for the rate to drop. If the rate doesn't drop, you're paying $110 more per month just because you have to buy a $400,000 home at $420,000 next year. Same interest rate. Let's say they don't drop. You're paying $110 more per month. Smart decision waiting, right? No. Next, the rate would have to drop to 6.5% between now and next year. And guess what? Even if the rate drops to 6.5% and the price goes up to 420, you're paying the same as if you locked in a rate at 7% today. Your payment's the same. So are you waiting for the rates to drop to feel like you got a deal, or are you waiting for the rates to drop because of your payment? Are you payment conscious? So I need you to be a little bit more payment conscious, because you're either going to pay $420 at 6.5% and pay the same $2,500, or you're going to pay $400 at 7% and pay the same $2,500 per month. We all know you're not going to be in that home for the next 30 years. So the 30-year interest that you're going to be paying really doesn't have a factor in this. The 6.5% and 7% really isn't going to be a factor, because when rates do come down, there's a good chance that you're going to refinance anyway. You're never going to pay the full 7% over the 30 years. So I understand you look at the amortization rate, and if I pay 7%, that's $100,000 in interest over 30 years. You're never going to have the home for 30 years at 7%. It's not going to happen. It doesn't. Very, very few people do that. So you need to be payment conscious. Payment conscious. Stop looking at all those other little factors that really don't have a bearing on the transaction in the moment as of today. So again, rates are very, very low. You're getting a deal because the average is 7.75. Average over that time is 7.75. Yes, Kim, I'll make some copies of these and I'll send them to you. All right, so those are the basic numbers for the rates are low. You want to wait for the rate to drop 0.5% next year? The rate drops 0.5%, the price goes up, you're paying the same. But let me tell you what's even worse. If the rate drops 1% down to 6%, I guarantee, I'm going to give you the George Foreman guarantee, the George Foreman Grill guarantee. I guarantee it. If the rates go to 6%, the buyers are going to come back into the market with a lot more force, that's going to drive the prices of homes up even more. They're going to go from 5% appreciation to 7 or 10% appreciation over the next year, because more buyers back in this market means driving prices up a little bit more, because there's not enough homes for them to choose from, which makes the buyers compete and pay more. We're already seeing it in certain markets and price points. So 5% is 420. If it went up 10%, that's $440. That's another $110 a month, which means the rate has to drop to 6%. So again, you're paying the same if you wait for rates to drop to 6% and appreciation goes up because there's more buyers competing for those same homes. The payment's the same. I know it may not make sense for a lot of you, but when you do all the numbers, it makes sense. They're paying the same amount. All right, so that's one reason. Smart people are buying homes because they understand, I'm going to lock in a fixed rate and I'm going to lock in the price and rate of the home, not just the mortgage rate. I'm going to lock in my appreciation. When you have a choice to invest in a fund, you invest in a fund because it produces X amount of return. So lock in the return on the home right now, because if rates go down, you're locking in a higher rate of return. Because rates go down, buyers come back, home price appreciation will start going up a little bit more quickly. Second, why are smart people buying houses? Well, it beats the hell out of renting. Your mortgage is a fixed rate interest rate. Your payment is not going to change. Principal and interest will not change. Taxes and insurance can be adjustable, but your principal and interest will not change. Your rent is going to keep going up. The payment you make, your 7% interest payment that you're making on your mortgage, you're paying 7% on your money. When you're paying your rent, you're paying 100% on your money. Because you don't own anything, you're not investing in anything, you're not getting anything back. You're not getting appreciation, tax deductions, you're not getting any of that. So let's talk about it. Rent prices are still high. $2,500 gets you a 3.2 or a 4.2 if you're lucky, depending on where you're at and what you're looking for. And that 3.2 or 4.2 may not be what you want, may not be in the area you want, the neighborhood you want, but it's going to be $2,500 a month. $2,500 gets you a $400,000 home. I could find you a brand new $400,000 home, 2,500 square foot with 4, sometimes 5 bedrooms right here in this area. Brand new. Brand new. As long as you don't mind driving 1 more mile down the road, 2 more miles down the road, I'll find it for you. And guess what? You're probably going to be able to get into that home for the same amount as you would as if you were renting. You're going to have to pay security deposits when you rent. First month, last month security, $2,500, that's $7,500. $400,000 home, 3.5% down. The builder's paying most of your closing costs. So you're going to be around the same. Yes, it might be a little bit more, but there's ways to figure those things out and get your buyer the best opportunity. We'll talk about another one in a minute that a buyer can get into a home with nothing out of pocket. So your mortgage rate is 7%, your rent rate is 100, 1,000. It's an infinite percentage over because you're getting nothing out of it other than just the roof over your head and you don't own it. Benefits of owning. This could be a whole series on itself. Let me tell you why smart people are buying homes right now, even with interest rates, even with economy, even with all of the other crap that the news and media are like to make up. Let me tell you why smart people are buying homes. They're buying homes because of the tax benefits. Here are just a few of the tax benefits that you have. You can write off your mortgage interest. You can write off your mortgage insurance. If you get a HELOC, which we'll talk about the benefit of the HELOC and how that actually benefits you. If you get a HELOC, you can write off the interest on your HELOC. On your HELOC payment, you can write that off. More deductions. If you paid discount points, you can write those off. Your property taxes, you've got the ability to write some of that off. Some necessary improvements can qualify. Certain energy efficient upgrades, any medical type upgrades, any certain things like that. Check in with your county, with your state to see which ones can provide a tax benefit because you can write some of them off. Your home office. You all are independent contractors and most of you will probably have an office at home. You can write that off. I know most of you should know that already. Mortgage insurance, capital gains, no capital gain payment on $250,000 as an individual, up to $500,000 as a married couple. That's pretty awesome. Now, what else do you get? What's another benefit of why are smart people buying homes and why does owning beat renting? Because you have equity and appreciation. Those two things hand in hand right now, on average, 3 to 5% over the last 30 years. You saw the number, 4.3% over the last 32 years, 4.7% over the last 22 years has been the annual appreciation. You can access that equity tax-free with tax deductions. So as you gain equity when you're owning a home, something you can't do as a renter, I pay the same $2,500 a month over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. I get the appreciation. So let's say that our appreciation goes up 10% this year. $400,000 home goes to 440. Let's just say I put 10% down. So I've got 20% equity in that home at this time, maybe more because I paid some down over the last year or two. So I could potentially access a HELOC. If I have greater equity, like a lot of us have, I can open up a HELOC. I'm getting, in a way, tax-free money. A loan is not considered income and is not taxable, but I've just accessed, I opened a HELOC, I accessed $120,000 in funds that are accessible to me that I don't have to pay taxes on if I use it. Now let's talk about, I got income, I don't pay taxes on it, and if I can use that income to make me more money, now I'm compounding on top of, I bought an investment that I live in that's continually gaining appreciation. I'm getting equity. I can access that equity, take that money, put it in another investment, pay a small amount here for the HELOC, but my rate of return is much greater. So it's almost an infinite return because it just continues to give. And I'll show you how it can be an infinite return for smart people buying homes using down payment assistance with nothing out of pocket doing that same thing. So renting over buying. Renting sure as hell gets beat out by purchasing. You have so many more benefits of renting. Some people say, well, I have to maintain the home and the landlord just maintains it. Understand, that is a price that you pay for owning, for gaining, like some of us have who have owned homes over the last 3.5 years, for gaining 70 to 100% appreciation on our home. the home I paid $395. It's worth about $650. It just had an appraisal was $685. I'll maintain my home to have that $300,000 in equity that I can access if I wanted to, tax free. I don't pay taxes on it as income. I pay interest on it, but I don't pay taxes. But that interest is deductible from my taxes. That's a benefit. So you're worried about painting the outside of your house, $3 to $5 grand. I got $300,000. You didn't have to pay $3 to $5 grand. I get it. That makes sense. Good decision, renter. You didn't want to replace the AC in your house. Okay. $7,500, $8,000. I got $300,000. You didn't want to pay $7,500 to $8,000. Makes sense. My $300,000 in appreciation was a much worse decision than not paying for a new AC in the house. So those are all of the things that you get as a benefit that you have access to. And I could use a HELOC to do those things if I really needed to, and make payments on that at a lower rate than a credit card or that I'd be financed for a lot of these companies. So owning a home gives you so many other options, not only tax benefits, but equity and appreciation, but then the ability to access funds that can act as income that you just pay interest on, but no taxes, and you can deduct it from your taxes. Why are smart people buying houses? Equity. Simply put, real estate has and always will be the best investment. That's an opinion. That's an opinion I firmly believe in, which is why I will continue to buy real estate, because I think it's a much better investment. Real estate always goes up. No, it's not in 2008 and 9. You saw what happened. You saw the previous slide. Between 1991 and 2023, the average appreciation was 4.3%. Even with a complete and utter economic crisis and crash globally and real estate wide in the United States, average is still 4.3%. As much as they crashed in 2008, every single year on average has been 4.3% over the last 32 years. If you go back 10 years prior to that, that number goes up even higher. The appreciation that people had between the 70s and 90s, getting into the 90s and up, was much greater. That number would even go higher. So think about this. As an investment, when you buy a stock, and that stock loses value, has any stock ever went to zero? Yes or no? Has stock ever been completely devalued, went to zero, company out of business, stock no longer exists, your money is poof, gone? Has it ever happened? Yes. If you own, anybody heard of Enron? Just one big example. Stocks have gone to zero, and they happens all the time. They go to zero and done. Your money is gone. You have $0. And the way the stock market works is you still need to have something for when the value comes back for it to be accumulating and compounding on. If you go to zero, there's nothing to compound off of. Your value never comes back. If a stock goes to zero, if they revamp the company, come back in, and you are out of that position, you have $0 in stock, they go back to $1, you still have $0 because that company is gone. But it doesn't work the same with equity. Even if somehow, some way, that would never happen, real estate values go to $0, you still own the property and the tangible asset, the land, the grass, the dirt, the walls, the roof. You own the tangible asset, and there is value in that. So when values come back up, that tangible asset is already now compounding, accumulating appreciation. So if I told you you had the option, you can buy an investment that if the investment doesn't work out, you lose all your money. But if this investment doesn't work out because values go down, you still have a roof over your head and it's your place to live. You had to pay for it anyway, so you're still paying for it, but you have a place to live. You were going to pay for a place to live either way. But now once the values start coming back around, economy picks up, your home value goes back up. So with stocks, it never comes back if it goes to zero. With homes, it always will come back because you have that tangible asset there. So equity is a huge, huge thing. If you access a HELOC, I said this before, our home has doubled in value in 9 years. Absolutely. So if you access a HELOC, like I said, it is income that you could have that is tax-free. If I open a $120,000 home equity line of credit, I have access to $120,000 I did not have before that I could use and spend to generate more income. Now I paid nothing to get that $120,000. I just opened the line of credit. I only pay a small marginal interest rate on it whenever I use it. And as long as my investment pays me more than what the HELOC pays me, I don't pay taxes on the income of the equity line that I just took to use. I can write off the mortgage interest for the HELOC, and I'm earning appreciation on the investment I bought, as well as earning cash flow on the investment that I bought. Access your equity to make other investments while the equity still appreciates. So I'm using the equity in my house. It is sitting there, standing still right now, doing nothing. I open up an equity line. Now the equity that's in my house, the property appraiser doesn't say, nope, you took 120 grand out. So we're not appreciating on the full 600,000. We're only appreciating on 120,000 less because you took an equity line out. So we're only going to appreciate on $480,000. Okay. It doesn't work that way. So if I take the equity out, the full value of my home is still appreciating, and I'm going to earn interest and income on the HELOC that I took out. So the benefits that you have for accessing a HELOC, which is why smart people are buying homes, because they get appreciation, they get equity, they get write-offs, they get all of these things. And now I have the ability to take and create more income for myself I didn't have by accessing a HELOC and creating investments out of it. I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but this is what, basically like Robert Kiyosaki, when he starts talking about leverage and he starts talking about debt and talking about these things, that's the simple concept of compounding the actions that you're taking and using the things that you have, writing off as much as you can, leveraging as much as you can to create more income. And as long as the spread is greater than what you're spending to a significant amount, you're making a great decision. Next, number 3, why are smart people buying houses? Well, smart people are buying houses. This is an awesome one. This is the one that you need to be taking to all of your sphere, all of your pipeline, everybody who that thought about buying a home in the last 3 years that didn't because they got beat out, had an FHA loan that they couldn't get accepted, using a low down payment they couldn't get accepted, needed to sell a home that they couldn't get accepted as a contingency, didn't want to use knock or anything else. This is what you need to be going to all of these buyers with. Why are smart people buying houses? Well, and this is generality statement. The market appears to be more in favor of buyers right now. So I'd be calling every single one of them saying, hey, John, I know you were looking at a home a couple of years ago, and that market was, it was crazy. It's still a little complex, but it appears to be more in the favor of buyers right now. I was just talking to my lender, and 8 or 9 out of the last 10 deals that he's written, the loans that he's done, have all had some type of seller concessions on them. I'm looking daily at my market, and I'm seeing that homes are selling at 95 to 97% of the list price, not 100 to 105% of the list price. So it appears from everything I'm seeing, the market has been more in favor of buyers recently. It's not a buyer's market. I'm not saying it's a buyer's market. I'm saying it's more in favor of buyers than it was 2 months ago. You have the ability to sit and wait if you want to. We have plenty of homes sit on the market for a week to 2 weeks, and then what? Bam, multiple offers. Instead of multiple offers in the first hour. So you can sit and wait. You don't need to risk losing your job by sneaking out to go see a home to make sure you don't lose it because you really wanted to be in that neighborhood. It's the only thing that came up. Now I got to pay $20,000 over asking price, come out of pocket more, access a 401k, pay some penalties over. You don't have to do that. You can be more patient. You can take your time. We can also negotiate. We can negotiate the list price in our offer. We can negotiate closing costs. We can negotiate buy downs. There are so many opportunities for buyers. 2-1 buy downs, 3-2-1 buy downs. Did you know that if a buyer negotiates a 3-2-1 buy down, if you don't know what that is, I'll try to briefly explain it. You get a credit from the seller. Instead of using it for closing costs, they take that total credit from the seller. Let's just say it's $15,000. They're going to use $5,000 to buy the rate down the first year, or, say $7,000 to buy the rate down the first year. They'll use $3,000 to buy the rate down the second year, and then another, or vice, whatever the numbers are, $5,000 to buy it down the third year. That's what they do it for. So that for the first 3 years, your payment is going to be 3% lower, 2% lower, 1% lower, and then fourth year will be at normal market rate. So we're doing this. This is what my lender just told me. He said, I would do a 3-2-1 buy down rather than buying the interest rate down. Because if you buy the interest rate down, you're going to spend maybe close to the same amount of money to get to that same kind of payment. But if you do a 3-2-1 buy down, let's say the interest rates go down next year. You had your interest rate bought down from 6.5% to 3.5% for the first year. If rates go down next year to 5%, from 6.5% to 5%, refinance. And the money that you put aside to buy the rate down year 2 and year 3, you can take that money and put it towards principal. You never lose that money that was put aside for the buy down. The rate, it's money's put into an escrow account that will buy it down every year. But you can take that money and now put it towards it. If you buy the rate down from 6.5% to 5.5%, yeah, you have a 5.5% interest rate, but your payment is going to be more for that first year than it would have been, and you're going to end up at a different interest rate. So the 3-2-1 buy down can be very beneficial for a lot of buyers. There's a lot of programs for buyers. So you can take time to make decisions. You can ask for repairs. You can do an inspection and actually find out that there's issues in the home, and you can ask the seller to make those repairs. And the seller is going to have to more than likely do them unless they have backup offers, because that's still happening in a lot of places. The seller will be more receptive. So I can actually get a decent home with some repairs or a home warranty or things like that. So I can actually have a good home. I can negotiate appraisal shortages. We had a property listed. I had a buyer looking at a property. It was listed for like $399, lowered to $395. We negotiated to $390. We still knew it was high. I told the buyer it's still high. The appraisal is probably going to be an issue. We're going to have to address it at that point. Just so you're aware, you may spend this money for the seller to say, I'm not going to reduce the price. I made it very clear to the seller that the buyer has no other money. If this becomes an issue, the buyer will not be able to move forward. 100% clarity. I'm just telling you, I'm not trying to backdoor you. I just want to be straightforward and honest with you. Appraisal came back at $382. We went back and forth. They said, we're not going to do it. I said, well, buyer's gone. They said, wait. We'll do it. We'll lower it to $382. So we went from $400,000 down to $382 and negotiated that. Multiple offers. Why are smart people buying homes? Because the market appears to be more in favor of buyers. Even when there's multiple offers, they're not selling right away. Sometimes you get multiple offers in 2 weeks or 3 weeks and then it sells because people understand they can wait and make a better decision. And I've seen multiple offers not go for at and above list price. I've seen multiple offers that end up selling below what the list price was. This is real people real estate. It allows more buyers to compete. The times where cash buyers paying crazy amounts over, investment companies beating you out on everything, paying over asking price, those are not happening anymore. So we have real people real estate, not an artificial market, not artificial buyers, artificial this, artificial that. It's a real market with real life buyers making real life decisions. So the competition field has been evened. So you're competing with other buyers and you just have to have a black belt ninja agent on your side crafting your offer to make sure we get your offer accepted. That's what's going to make the difference. They can get in with a down payment assistance, an FHA, VA, or USDA, when in the last 3 years or so, most sellers were looking for cash or conventional, large down payment, large out-of-pocket expenses, paying gaps over appraisals. Didn't matter what the price was, that's what they were looking for. It made it very difficult for those buyers. So now we move to, again, what we were just talking about, down payment assistance. Smart people are buying homes because we know if you have a first-time home buyer, I have the best opportunity for you to make the smartest decision you will ever make in your life. I would literally put a video out saying this. So let me tell you why smart people are buying houses. Let me tell you a little bit more why first-time home buyers are being very smart in buying houses, making the absolute best decision of their life. This will completely change the trajectory of their life, making this one decision. Getting with a lender who offers a down payment assistance program grant of some kind that they will cover the down payment, the entire down payment. Structuring the offer with the seller to cover all closing costs. Buyer pays no down payment, no closing costs. Nothing out of pocket. I'm getting buyers under contract with an FHA down payment assistance grant. Down payment assistance does not have to be repaid. Getting them under contract with something like that. Buying an investment, not an investment property, buying a home they're going to live in, which is an investment, buying an investment with nothing out of pocket. Where else can you get an investment that is going to be worth $400,000 with nothing out of pocket? That's going to appreciate and earn you on average 5% every year for the next 30 years, because that's what it's done for the last 30 years. Maybe even 20 or 30%, 40% over the next 2, 3, or 4 years. Where else can you get an investment with nothing out of pocket that's going to do that? And then in 1 year from now, not only does that investment appreciate at 5% on average, you can go and take that investment that you bought, that you lived in, and turn it into a true investment property that's going to cash flow. Now I'm getting 5% every single year on that property, appreciation and equity, but I'm also getting $300 to $500 in cash flow off of that property. And I'm going to go buy another property that's going to be an investment. My property that I will live in, not investment property, and investment in myself buying a home I'm going to live in. That would be the best decision that any first-time home buyer can do right now. Buying an investment with nothing out of pocket if we structure the deal correctly, except inspections and appraisals, very minimal. Nothing out of pocket, but having the ability to have 5% appreciation every single year. Tax write-offs, that benefit. If appreciation goes up enough, they have access to equity to invest in. So I paid nothing to get this property that gave me 5% plus the cash flow. Now, once I have enough equity in it, I can open a HELOC and earn money on my HELOC. That's infinite return. I spent nothing and I got this much. That's what smart people are doing right now, using this as an opportunity. So the investment's going to appreciate 3 to 5%. They're going to pay the same amount as they would in rent. So you just made zero. You're going to actually pay less to get into this home because you need first month, last month, and security to get into a rental. For this program, you're just going to need to pay inspections and appraisals if I structure the deal correctly. And when we do that, you didn't have to pay $7,500 out of pocket to get in. You paid $1,000 out of pocket to get into this home. You're going to be paying $2,500 a month either way on rent or a mortgage. Why not make a smart decision and do this? After just 1 year, they can move into another property. Even if they decide to move out and rent another property, they can lease this property out. Even if they want to go rent something at that point, they can do that and actually create cash flow, create another form of income. With no money out of pocket, they're getting 3 to 5% per year of a $400,000 investment plus $300 to $500 per month in cash flow, turning it into a rental. And they didn't have to invest any more than they would have as if they were renting. In 5 to 7 years, they can refinance into a lower rate and cash flow even more, or cash out refi to buy another investment, or open a HELOC and access tax-free money, technically could be considered income that you can write off the mortgage interest on, and you can invest with it. All right, so I hope that helped. I tried to give you as many talking points as I could. I will copy these slides and send them out to you and share them with you. They're just bullet points and talking points. This video will be available if you want to go back and listen to some of it. I know I talk fast. I apologize. I don't mean to. I get excited and I really believe in the opportunities that we can create for people. And that's the level of certainty and the level of belief that I want you to have, which is why I say it with such vigor and certainty, because I believe it and I want you to believe it. And I want you to know that these are all possibilities. All you have to do is decide that you're going to show up and do something different than you did before to provide a better opportunity for not only yourself, but all of your consumers that are out there that you're working with. So I hope you guys have an awesome day. I will share these slides out to you. If you need anything at all, Lauren, under contract with 2 down payment assistance with closing costs covered and a home warranty. Hello, I just bought a property, didn't put any money out of pocket, got a warranty in case anything breaks. Why are smart people buying houses? That's why. Have an awesome Wednesday, August 9th. If you need anything at all, please feel free to reach out. We are always here and always available. We want to be the best business partner we possibly can for you. So please raise your hand if you need anything. Happy Wednesday.